Mia Goth is a rising star, and there is one big threat to her career right now. Her ex-husband, Shia LaBeouf. And she has to cut off this ball and chain because at the end of it is not a hot Jacob Elordi Frankenstein, but something that could ruin her career. Before we get to where they are now, let's circle back to where it all started. When they met, Shia LaBeouf was an A-list celebrity. He was in Transformers, Indiana Jones, Wall Street. And Mia Goth, she was some indie actress that nobody had ever heard of. Fast forward to now, Mia Goth is in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which got 9 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. She's playing Lilith in Marvel's Blade. She's in Christopher Nolan's next movie, The Odyssey. And she's the main villain in Star Wars Starfighter. Meanwhile, Shia LaBeouf, he ain't doing great. He got arrested again. This time at Mardi Gras. But the craziest part of all this is that Mia Goth kept their divorce secret for a year. Why? Because she had Oscar campaigns and Marvel auditions to protect. And just like Maxine Minx in Maxine, she was not about to let anything get in the way of her having a successful career. Even Hurricane LaBeouf. So what turned Shia LaBeouf into a rising child star to Hollywood's most unreliable dumpster fire? Sadly, it goes back to his childhood. Hurricane Shia LaBeouf didn't start as a Category 5. In fact, his childhood was really sad. He was doing stand-up at age 10 to help his family pay rent. And it gets darker from there. As a kid, Shia LaBeouf was broke. And not we can't go to Disney broke. He was, my parents can't afford to keep me broke, which is why his uncle almost adopted him. Shia LaBeouf's dad was a clown. No, I'm not saying he acted like a clown. He was literally a clown. He went to clown school. And he was addicted to drugs. So his dad was literally a drug-addicted clown. Very difficult childhood. So Shia, in order to help his parents pay the bills and keep him so he's not adopted by his uncle, starts doing stand-up around Los Angeles. This is at age 10. So at 12, Shia LaBeouf is discovered and he starts shooting on Even Stevens on Disney. And his dad's there who's taking care of him on set. But they're also going to AA meetings together as his dad tries to get help and sort himself out. At 12, most kids are collecting Pokemon cards, but this kid is at AA. And unfortunately, his dad is suffering with PTSD from Vietnam, and during one of these flashbacks, pointed a pew-pew at Shia. So the person who's supposed to protect and keep Shia LaBeouf feeling safe is a danger to him. But that didn't keep Shia LaBeouf down. He kept working hard, and by 17, he won a Daytime Emmy. I mean, this is impressive, especially considering everything he's dealing with at home. And Hollywood took note. They noticed that he was a rising star. By 21, he was in Transformers. But by 25, the arrest started. Hollywood took a kid with no stable home, no stable parents, no safety net, and made him famous. And he really, truly could not handle it. Because what happened next wasn't one bad night. It was a decade-long pattern that would eventually cost Shia LaBeouf everything, including Mia Goth. If Shia LaBeouf collected frequent flyers miles for police stations instead of airports, he would be platinum status at this point. Let me walk through his tragic history. The first time he got arrested, guess how old he was? 9, for stealing Nike shoes. Next arrest, 21. He crashed his truck, 2 women were hurt, he refused a breathalyzer, and got arrested outside Walgreens. That same year, he got arrested again at Austin city limits, this time for public intoxication. He tried to run from the police, and they caught him. Every year, he's slowly escalating. But Hollywood kept hiring him. Studios kept casting him. Everyone saw the red flags, but they kept saying, well, Transformers made $1 billion. He even slapped Alan Cummings on his backside, but even that didn't get him labeled as a traitor. And then right in the middle of this escalating dumpster fire, Shia LaBeouf gets cast in a Lars von Trier film. And that's when he meets something beautiful, which is where he met 19-year-old Mia Goth. Shia LaBeouf and Mia Goth's love story starts on the set of a film called Nymphomaniac. I mean, what could go wrong? Love at first fight. So in 2012, on the set of this Lars von Trier film, Mia Goth is 19. Shia LaBeouf is 26. The movie is about exactly what the title suggests. And no, the on-screen chemistry did not translate to a healthy relationship. By 2016, they decided they wanted to get married in Las Vegas with an Elvis impersonator officiating, because that's absolutely not chaotic in any way possible. And 2 days after the ceremony, the Clark County Clerk's Office says that the marriage wasn't legally valid. Why? Well, it turns out that Elvis impersonator wasn't licensed. So Shia LaBeouf and Mia Goth thought that they had gotten married and announced their vigils to the world, only to find out it didn't count, at least legally. So their marriage license was never actually filed. But at this point, Shia LaBeouf is still a huge star, and Mia Goth is not really known. She's doing indie horror films that no one has seen outside of Twitter. At the time, Mia Goth did not realize that she was living with a ticking time bomb, and soon that bomb would go off on camera. Before she gave her heart to Frankenstein or played one of the most famous porn stars, Mia Goth had to survive a relationship with Shia LaBeouf. And honestly, that relationship was scarier than any of her horror movies. In 2015, Entertainment Tonight obtained a video of Mia Goth and Shia LaBeouf arguing, in which Shia LaBeouf says, and I quote, "This is the kind of thing that makes a person abusive." So he knew that his behavior was bad, and yet he was still doing it. That's right, on camera, he gave himself a Yelp review, and the rating was 0 stars. Talk about a red flag factory. But did this change anything? No. Hollywood kept hiring him. Mia Goth stayed. In America, we don't hold men accountable. Only women. It would be another 5 years before Shia LaBeouf saw any retribution for the things that he had done. But while Mia Goth was experiencing this hardship behind the scenes, it wasn't her who came forward. It was another woman who came forward with allegations against Shia LaBeouf. And only then is when the industry started paying attention. Mia Goth was still tied to Shia LaBeouf when FKA Twigs came forward and said, "Ma'am, your man is trash, and I have the legal documents to prove it." So let's go through the timeline. It's 2018. Mia Goth and Shia LaBeouf are separated, but the legal situation is messy. Remember, their Vegas wedding was contested, so it's not really clear if they were married, not married. The water's murky. It's some weird gray area around the lines of, it's complicated. So in 2018, Shia LaBeouf starts dating FKA Twigs, one of the most creative artists alive, and their relationship lasts about a year. And according to FKA Twigs, basically Shia LaBeouf love-bombed her. He was obsessed, attentive, sweet, charming, and then he just suddenly switched. FKA Twigs alleges that Shia LaBeouf threw her against a car at a gas station, tried to choke her, drove recklessly, threatening to crash unless she said she loved him, and your boy gave her an STD. And he started monitoring her schedule and isolating her away from everyone she knew. I mean, this is bad. This is toxic relationship. So in December 2020, FKA Twigs was done with all of this and filed a lawsuit. SA, battery, assault, emotional distress. I mean, she listed off all the horrors that she went through. And when someone saw her bravery, they stepped forward as well. And that other woman was Carolyn Foe, another ex of Shia LaBeouf. Same pattern, different woman, same playbook. Now, Mia Goth isn't coming forward at this point, but she is watching from the background. She hasn't said that these things have happened to her, but she likely was experiencing them. This is a pattern. But this doesn't seem to have deterred her, because in 2022, she had a daughter with Shia LaBeouf named Isabel. And this is when her career starts to take off thanks to the X trilogy. So she has to make a choice. Stay with this toxic man who has a history of hurting women and could destroy her career, or do what's best for likely her own mental health and her daughter and run. So how much did Mia Goth actually have to lose? Well, at this point in her career, she had a breakout horror franchise, a growing reputation, and auditions for the biggest roles of her career. And Shia LaBeouf at this point is canceled. So staying with him could lead to her losing everything. The question is, what would he do next? And could she get through it? Should we forgive Shia LaBeouf? He has said sorry, but has he actually changed his behavior? Here's the thing about forgiveness. It's not something that you ask for, it's something that you earn. And earning it comes from changing your behavior, from proving that you have changed. And in Shia LaBeouf's words, he told the New York Times, "I have a history of hurting the people closest to me. I am ashamed." Okay, so brave. He recognizes the mistakes that he's made and that there is a pattern. That's introspective, but does he follow through? On a podcast, he said about FKA Twigs, "I hurt that woman. I was a pleasure-seeking, selfish, dishonest human being." Sir, you described yourself like you're reading a bad dating profile. And then Shia LaBeouf found God. He converted to Catholicism. And this is all while his ex-girlfriend's lawsuit is still pending. He even started a Catholic ministry while the lawsuit was going on. He literally went from "I hurt that woman" to "I found Jesus" faster than most people switch streaming services.
Shia LaBeouf does so many logical things while he has his case going on with FKA Twigs. Like starting an apostolate, a Catholic ministry. Why not? It's totally not narcissistic to just suddenly claim you're pretty much Jesus. And in the end, they never actually went to trial, but they resolved it outside of trial in July 2025. Details confidential. So he got to say, "I'm sorry, find Jesus, and never face a single public consequence." It's basically a Hollywood special. But while Shia LaBeouf was finding God and settling lawsuits, let's talk about the real main character of this story, Mia Goth, because her glow-up is one for the history book, especially when her ex-husband has all this going on in the background. In 2022, Mia Goth starred in X. It's a slasher film. She plays both the final girl and the villain in the same movie. Two different characters, and Hollywood goes, "Oh, this girl can act." That same year, she gives birth to Isabel with Shia LaBeouf. So she's giving birth and career-defining performances. In 2023, Pearl comes out, which is the prequel to X, and Mia Goth loses her mind in the absolute best way possible. The internet collectively decides she's the new scream queen. Next is 2024 Mask Queen. The trilogy is complete. Mia Goth with bleached eyebrows has officially become a brand. She made no eyebrows into a whole aesthetic. Like Helena Bonham Carter walked into a horror movie and said, "This is my house now." And then 2025 happened. Guillermo del Toro cast Mia Goth in Frankenstein. And not just as one character. She plays the mother and the love interest of the guy who made Frankenstein. I mean, Guillermo del Toro is a genius in saying, "Hey, this dude has mommy issues." He fell in love with a girl who looked exactly like his mother. And by mother, I mean it was literally just Mia Goth with eyebrows. Genius. It gets 9 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. And that's when she went from indie horror to award season in just one movie. But wait, there's more. Mia Goth's phone won't stop ringing. And the next call is from Marvel. They cast her as Lilith in Blade, which will December 2026. She's officially gone from Scream Queen to Marvel villain. And then Christopher Nolan, hold on, wait a minute, I know a baddie when I see one, and he called her to be in the Odyssey, July 2026. And then Star Wars is like, wait, we have to get her. Everyone loves her right now. What was happening to Shia LaBeouf earlier on in his career is now happening to Mia Goth. They cast her as the main villain in Starfighter, May 2027. And behind the scenes, Mia Goth is quietly planning her exit from Shia LaBeouf. She separated from him in mid-2025, so around when his lawsuit with FKA Twigs was resolved. And here's the hardest part. She got divorced and told nobody. I mean, picture your friends who get divorced. I don't know any who just keep it silent, dead silent. Nobody knows. And this is a famous person who's on the rise. I mean, imagine all the people who want to scoop that story. But she is as tough as Maxine. She is not going to let anyone derail her success, even her going through it ex-husband. If that headline got out, it could have derailed all of these calls coming in because he is basically unbankable. Right? Like Hollywood sees Shia LaBeouf and is like, we can't rely that he's going to show up on set sober. We don't know when he's going to show up. We can't predict and put huge multi-million, even billion-dollar budgets around him. So Mia Goth cannot be associated with him. And so somehow she's able to keep it entirely silent that they were getting divorced so that she can make sure that it doesn't stop her career. That is pretty wild and badass. Shia LaBeouf on the bright side is being a good husband by not coming out with this publicly. But privately, he's not handling it well. Okay. He knows that he fumbled a baddie. Now, most people start charities to help people. But Shia LaBeouf, he started this to help himself. Shia LaBeouf decided to start a theater collective. So while Mia Goth was collecting franchises like Infinity Stones, Shia LaBeouf was trying to prove he'd change. And his big idea? A theater collective in South Central LA called Slauson Rec. So he started this in 2018 when he was, in his own description, heartbroken and in a state of spiritual sickness. So obviously the best therapy when you're going through it is to create something, an organization that other people rely on for their income. Great plan, no. And there's a documentary on Slauson Rec, which Rolling Stone called even crazier than you heard. The film basically shows Shia LaBeouf growing impatience with the group. Arguments, tension, basically all the toxic energy of his relationships, now with people being filmed for a documentary. This man can't even do a good deed without it becoming a mess. So he decides, okay, well that didn't work. What should I do next? Maybe I should move to New Orleans, right? Fresh city, fresh start. But if you don't take care of yourself and you don't grow as a person, all of your problems are going to keep haunting you. People magazine says Shia LaBeouf moved to New Orleans because he said he wanted a reset. And what better place to find peace than going to Mardi Gras? So his fresh start ended with 2 accounts of battery during Mardi Gras, as well as screaming homophobic slurs at men. And he screamed these slurs in New Orleans at a parade in front of hundreds of people. Way to have a low profile in your new home. I mean, really, that's a great way to set yourself up for success and meet your neighbors. Meanwhile, TMZ says that Mia Goth says that she's concerned for him. I mean, they have a child together. That is ex-wife energy that deserves a humanitarian award. She says he needs rehab, and he's stuck in a loop that he can't get out of. The problem is he's not addressing the root issue, which is that he needs to get himself in help. Which brings us to the final question. Is his past gonna ruin her future? Let's count Shia LaBeouf's resets. Rehab, Catholic conversion, theater collective, apology tour, new city. Each one was supposed to be a turning point. And none of them were. She didn't need a redemption arc because she didn't need redeeming. She just needed to get away from Shia LaBeouf. And she did it brilliant. But meanwhile, Mia Goth took 0 public second chances. And people are going to keep asking her questions about him. So she has to figure out a way to separate herself so that she isn't dragged down and her career can keep rising while she has this pretty dark backstory. If you love investigating dark secrets like this, I'm actually a thriller author and Fulbright scholar. And I've spent my entire career investigating the real life dramas and seeing that might be a good story. You can check out my link in bio that leads to my Amazon with all my books. But anyway, the moral of this story is just because you might have a bad picker when it comes to men, doesn't mean you should let them bring you down. Mia Goth proves that. And if you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel because we're just getting started.